Hey guys, what in the heck? I don't know what that beeping is.
Microphone activated.
Sorry about that, guys. Everything looks to be going correctly now. Had a little bit of an issue, still having a little bit of an issue with Restream chat right now. I'm not entirely sure. Hey, what's up, Unsieged?
Yo,
Alright, so we are still having a strange issue with Restream chat. It's not wanting to hook up to YouTube for some reason. So I'm going to be monitoring the chat over there manually, which is not a big problem. There we go. Okay. So everybody from Twitch, though, should appear just fine in the chat. Wow, that was almost bad. That was almost bad.
we had one of those the other day where we said something that like it was totally innocent, and then we were able to edit it out because it was on YouTube.
It
But
was an actual slip of the
it was
tongue.
just a total slip of the tongue. It's like I was trying to say one thing and said something completely different, and I was like, man, this is what makes me nervous about streaming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, there is entirely that. Welcome everybody. This is the Stuck Pixel podcast. I am your host, Good, and I am being joined by my co-hosts, Corwin and Uko from Spicy Waffle, who will.
What up, people?
There we
Yo.
go. Yeah. Sorry, trying to get used to. Oh my God! Thank you for the host, Game Meets Girl. What's up, Game Goon? How you doing tonight? Hey, Game Meets Girl. How was your stream? Or I'm assuming, yeah, you streamed today. How'd that go? What does the title say? It's cut out after some security or after Steam security leak.
Viewer topics.
Yes.
Also Steam sales. Steam sales
yes.
too.
Yes, because these are all sort of hot ticket issues right now. Thank you again. Oh God, none of my mods. Where are you at, man? Where are you guys at? Where is Game Meets Girls Caster at? Come on, people.
I'm still baffled by the whole like
There we go.
system of casters and
Thank you,
mods and
Gorfus.
stuff like that on Twitch.
There are different types of wizards, like in Harry Potter.
Oh, you
Yes.
did a giant spoiler cast on Star Wars, Game Mates Girl? Were you like, was that just the entire point, or did that just happen?
I can't imagine. Let's just put it like this. I shouldn't talk about spoilers about things at all because I actually haven't even seen the Star Wars movie yet, honestly.
Yeah, me either, because YouTube.
And you know why? You know why I don't watch the Star Wars movie, right? It's because I know I've seen those news commercial or those news specials about what seats are like in movie theaters, and they're all like, "Yes, it's covered in fecal matter and semen."
Okay, I don't even know where you guys are at or where you're going, but that that seems like a good point to stop.
That's
What's up, HC? That's cool,
Well,
Game Mates
that's-
Girl. I wish I'd have been able to tune in for that. I'm just giving you shit, Corwin and Uko. I'm just giving you shit and trying to slow things down so I can say hi to people in chat. Okay,
like,
cool.
people don't want to say hi to the things that they've been sitting in movie theaters.
Oh.
Oh my God. Okay, so back to the movie theater seats.
Yes.
So, okay, on that note,
Turn a
though.
black light on a movie theater seat, you're gonna see some horrible fucked
Actually,
up shit.
do you remember that thing that happened during the premiere of episode 1 when we were at that big theater out
What?
there? The guy who looked like George Lucas buzzing the place in a limo. It must have been somebody
so
who.
weird.
It must have been somebody cosplaying as him in the earliest possible days of cosplaying.
Yeah, I remember like we went to see episode 1. I was not like tiny, but pretty small compared. Well, I was like I don't know 14 or something like that, and I remember being so psyched about it, and then Jar Jar Binks takes a shit on me.
Uh-huh. It was bad.
Yeah.
Right, Corwin, you guys are coming in a little bit quiet, I guess.
Right,
Oh, okay, hold on. I got it. Say something now.
Okay, so hopefully now I'm loud
Yeah, that's
enough.
better.
Otherwise, I could talk like crazy.
All right, so I guess we'll start off with the recent Steam security link or leak, and you guys will have to fill me in because I haven't even had a chance to really read into it.
Okay, so basically the thing is they fucked up their caching servers and ended up with, because Tom Scott had a really good video on it.
Yeah,
where
you guys know
essentially-
Tom Scott. He's a YouTuber that does tech
Yeah.
YouTube stuff.
He's a tech YouTuber, and he explained that basically, and I knew most of this already, but essentially, under normal conditions, most websites don't cache user pages, right, or logged in pages. They only cache
the public
things
stuff.
the public stuff, and so that it saves time when people are trying to get their pages. But now, especially with Steam doing the customized front page, they needed to do a whole bunch of caching of actually logged in stuff
Because of the huge traffic.
and to reduce traffic. And so on Christmas morning, the servers went completely down, and clearly somebody set it up to cache user pages, but screwed up and let it cache account pages and stuff, as well as just the actual front page of the store.
Yeah, so the upshot was that for a while there, you would go to log into the page, and it would leave your cached page in the cache, which would be viewable by the next, however many people down the line would log in, and they, instead of seeing their page, they would just see your page with all of your personal, or some of your personal
Yeah,
data,
like your email address, for
your
example.
email address and your
Wow.
your Steam username and that kind of stuff.
And I mean, it wasn't
As
the
if you were
biggest
logged in on their
deal in the
computer.
universe, in my opinion, given that the website was so slow that somebody couldn't mass exploit it.
And also,
And
I
get a whole
hasten
bunch
to
of
add
personal
that,
info.
that this gave no permissions to add games or delete anything or change passwords. It was none of that. It was just that you would see as if they were logged in on your machine, but you
Yeah.
couldn't do anything other than, see, oh, why is my page in Portuguese?
But I got to find out Magical Top Hat's email address. Ooh, man, boy, would Magical Top Hat be really upset about
But
that.
it's still a giant screw up because
It's still
that
a
is,
giant
it's
screw
not
up, but
supposed to
it's not
happen.
the worst thing in the universe.
Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, if it's not like if they didn't leak credit card information specifically, if they
You can
didn't
only see
leak
the
stuff
last
that,
4 digits, which means nothing.
Yeah.
yeah, so like then it's not really a big security leak as much as
No,
it is
it's
a little
not.
fuck up.
Yeah, it's more of a privacy issue, but it's given that they couldn't massively farm huge amounts of information.
Oh,
I
and
don't
definitely
think
it
it's
is
that big a
bad. Like
deal.
someone's saying in chat, it is definitely bad to have
it's
email
definitely
addresses.
bad. I wouldn't want my email address leaked that way either. But given that people couldn't really farm all of the email addresses,
it's
or
going to be
anything,
it's not going to be somebody who could get a big block of it and sift through it. It's going to be your peer in Brazil or next door or in in Taiwan that sees it, and they'll be like, oh no, someone's seeing my stuff, and then it'll be over.
So like it's different too, I think, for like I don't know how you guys feel about this, Corbin and Nuko, but it's different for me. Like if they leak my email, okay, it's the same email that I use for all of this stuff. So
yeah.
Exactly.
To me, that's let's put it like this: I was using my personal email on mine because I've just been doing it for so long.
Yeah, he has
I have
one of
I
the
have a
oldest
12-year-old Steam address.
Yeah, it's
or Steam
crazy.
account. So,
and we just
doing
didn't think
that
to change
long
it.
before we started doing any YouTube or whatever. But it's just one of those things.
Yeah, it
if
is
I
what
had
it
wanted
is.
to be more secure, I would have.
Yeah, exactly. It's on us.
okay, I gotta take a quick aside here. HC, what's up, man? I see you were playing State of Decay. What do you think, man? We can keep going, of course, because it takes a second for that to get to the chat.
I can totally see how I might sound like Peter Griffin at some point, especially right now with my I got a cough drop in right now, so I don't like hack and hurl all over this entire podcast.
You heard it here first, guys. Spicy Waffle is losing his throat. The channel's gonna burn.
Yeah, like that one
Oh,
time.
it's happened before.
Woo! Yeah, that was really terrible, but it's back to normal now. It's been toughened up with esophageal scar tissue.
You're gonna be, dude, when you're old, you're gonna have like a leathery throat.
Yeah.
Yup.
I used to be in the YouTube game. That's why I sound like this.
I remember playing State of Decay at some point, and I got horrible like work and school problems or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I came back to play the game about a year later, and I got nothing but about 50 pages of how all of my settlers had died.
Yeah, because it just goes on when you're gone.
Yup.
Poor bastards try to survive in the ether.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but also funny.
I
I wanted State of Decay to be like a slightly more serious version of Dead Rising, but it really did not deliver, in my opinion. I like Dead Rising a lot better.
Yeah, okay, so I've played Dead Rising and I've played State of Decay, and I think that they're different games. I like State of Decay because I like the base building in State of Decay. Dead Rising is more of like a weapon crafting game, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And it's definitely good for what it is.
State of Decay felt very shallow. It wanted to be deeper, but it ended up being shallow. But that's just my opinion.
You know what I want is for somebody to say, "Hey, let's do State of Decay 2 or a game inspired by it with the mechanics from the Fallout base building, where you can make it really custom and look the way you want, but then zombies come at you."
Oh, totally. And like I think if
that would
they
be really cool.
It was a very different generation when State of Decay came out, too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think if they had the tech they had now, they could have done a release like that. But at the same time, I don't know what's happening
State
with
of Decay
Undead Labs.
is newer than Dead Rising 1 by a lot.
It's just, well, it's that generation lag time for the really small indie developer.
They didn't have the money
Yeah.
and the team that Capcom had when they made Dead Rising 1. I still think in some ways Dead Rising 1 it's kind of like the ultimate zombie game.
I agree.
And they never released it on anything other than the 360. And it was the game that like made me the most afraid that I'd red ring my 360 because you had to, for one of the play modes, you had to literally run it for like 8 hours straight or something.
Yeah, or else that's how it worked.
8 hours straight.
Yeah, I did not really enjoy. God, what the hell was the name of it again?
Which one?
Dead Rising. I didn't enjoy the first
Rising?
Dead Rising that much. Like, I had it, and it was like one of those things where it was like, because of the way the game was designed to be played, where you're supposed to like go through in a certain number of days and then just replay it a whole bunch, it just didn't really appeal to me at all.
I really liked the first Dead Rising
I did too.
personally.
And like, basically, I could see it being maybe more accessible if they hadn't done it that way, but the environments and everything else about it were so much better, in my opinion.
I
They
agree.
sold it better as the whole zombie mall experience thing. And for the time, the graphics were like face melting.
You know, they are going to be making a Walking Dead game, not an MMO. And the thing though, the kind of rub about that is it's made by the people who made Payday. So
yeah, we
were.
Oh, yeah,
they
we
may
were.
suddenly be like, they may make a great Dead Rising or Walking Dead game, and then suddenly like, boom! Now you're just absolutely fucking screwed with microtransactions.
You have to pay for Zombrex
Yeah.
for your character when you get bit.
Okay, I'm gonna step in real quick, guys. I have to do this. What's up, Lazy Dragon? Lazy Dragon is watching over on YouTube. For some reason, the chat is not connecting right now, so Lazy Dragon, you're not popping up on the screen. But I needed to say hi and stop for a minute and thank Lazy Dragon because he sent me Hand of Fate on Steam for Christmas, and it is really cool, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. Okay. Sorry.
So, I still at some point want to actually have us get in and play some Payday, especially...
Yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, because you've actually finally got things where we can really record multi people, so that would be really fucking sweet, I think.
Yeah, no, I have no problem.
And then you can eventually understand how terrible it is that they ruined such a fucking awesome game.
Yeah, it is. It's
okay,
so sad.
I got a weird like gaming sort of story right now though. I've been replaying Final Fantasy VI since it came out on Steam, and I spent most of Christmas playing Final Fantasy VI, and it's one of those things where it's still an incredibly good game, even after all the years it's been since it came out. And I've played it about 3 times, but I never actually noticed at all. I don't know if have you played Final Fantasy VI? Good.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you know how after the world breaks and you wake up as Celeste on that island, and Sid is there, and he's like dying of Final Fantasy cancer or something like that. And
The consumption,
yeah,
yo.
I always thought that it was something where he inevitably would die no matter what you did. And I found out just this time that I'm playing it that if you feed him only the fast swimming fish, he actually lives. So
Yeah,
I
you
always
didn't know
thought it was
that?
this. I didn't know that at all. I've always thought it was supposed to. To me, it seems like it's better writing if he dies. Just that's my opinion. I always thought he was just supposed to die, and I just found that out
Man, can you
the other
imagine
day.
you show up in the Final Fantasy afterlife? Why did you die? They fed me the wrong kind of fish, and I was
Yeah.
too weak to tell them to stop feeding me the wrong kind of fish.
It just seems like
Yeah.
he slowly dies, and I'm like, man, that's kind of sad. But then again, off to save the world.
Yeah, well then there's that whole jumping off the cliff thing.
Yep. Which to me, all of that like works out to be a more compelling story. I don't know than like, oh, he lived and now he's giving you a raft.
He's like, I had this raft the whole time, but I wasn't gonna give it to you unless you save me.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna give you this raft
Yep.
until you finish feeding me enough fucking fish
You
so I
would
can
think
survive.
it would fly out of his body when he died.
Yep.
Well, the best death sequence and our best death graphic in any game ever is in whichever of the Dragon Quest ones where they just turn into a coffin and they stand there.
Well, I'm actually pretty sure that was something that in the original Japanese version they just boom corpse, but in the
User joined your
they
channel.
thought like the delicate sensibilities of Americans.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But
But it's funny.
which is for example in Chinese World of Warcraft, there's stuff like that. Instead of leaving a skeleton behind, they leave a tombstone, and it's very strange. But the other thing I noticed, right, is I love the game, right, but I didn't really notice until it's been like 10 years since I've replayed it. But what I noticed is what a fucked up character Setzer is, right? Because first he's a hero, right? But first he's gonna kidnap this one woman and like force her to be his bride, and then he's like, "Well, you're not this other woman, so I'm gonna look. I'll help you save the world and let you use my airship if I force you to be my bride instead." And then of course, if it were me, right? If I were Edgar or one of the other characters, I'd just kill a motherfucker and take his airship. But no, they're like, no, we'll let you do this coin toss to see if this guy gets to be forced to marry you. Like, I fucking slit a bitch's throat for that shit.
Yeah, but you know the game there was that Edgar knew the coin was fixed, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, Edgar knew, but Locke and all of the other characters didn't.
They have absolute faith in Edgar, man. That's all it is.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I would have loved to see Celeste just burn him to a cinder with her fucking magic powers.
And let's be fair here. Setzer is like the most devilishly handsome character in Final Fantasy history, right?
And he's got all like those scars that he applies with makeup. It's not actual scars on his face.
He is like, okay, Setzer is literally one of my favorite characters of all time, though, because he is a badass who just lives by his own rules. If he wants to, kidnap a woman and marry her, then that's what he's gonna do. Setzer lives by his own rules.
Also, there's all these weirdos who are obsessed with Realm on an almost sexual level, and it creeps me the fuck out.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
And the thing though that also confuses me about older Final Fantasy games is the way that the character portraits are often slightly different in a completely inexplicable way from the actual sprite, and are sometimes vastly different. And they updated the sprites for the mobile and PC version, but they didn't fucking fix those discrepancies. And it's like, why the fuck not? Why is Realm wearing a
Tradition.
green thing in the fucking character portrait and a red one in the fucking sprite? It makes me just want to slap the shit out of
Tradition
someone.
or colorblindness.
You know what? I don't even care. Like, you can have mismatched sprites, whatever. It's still better than
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy 13.
Well, you know what it's like?
Oh,
It's like,
obviously.
you know what it's like too? It's like the old school RPG games where you'd make your character, in the game and customize it however you could, but then you'd have to pick from the set of character portraits or like draw your own and scan it. But like they're all like these different archetypes of fantasy things. There's like the drow and the other drow and the bald drow and there's like dozens of them.
You know what upset me like deeply though about Final Fantasy 13 and its PC release is they left in the data files for the Mass Effect armor and stuff that you could have your characters wear, and then our Mass Effect or Final Fantasy 13 too, and then Square literally patched it. They went like to great lengths to patch it where it was impossible to access it through modding. Impossible. That is so pathetic. Why?
Because they wanted to sell it later.
Nah, they lost rights to it with BioWare, but like, why did they have to go to such great lengths to make it impossible? Is what I don't understand.
Yeah, you would
just
think
makes no sense
that
to
they would
me.
be like, oh no, I guess we didn't do enough. Some people are doing it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Azrael says she was watching top 10 videos earlier today. One of them showed Star Citizen and she chuckled.
You know, it's weird. I was seeing, I think it was Young Bones Gaming post about how much he likes the Star Citizen Alpha. I guess maybe it like finally came out or something, and it would be really funny if it turned out to be good.
Like I said, I think it's one of those things where it's either going to be the game that sets the bar for a couple of good
Or
years.
it's going to fall really flat and take a bunch of
Okay,
stuff out with it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? There are some. I know this is going to sound pretty dark, right? But there's some kids out there who were looking forward to Star Citizen and have now died of childhood leukemia
Oh my god.
after it was supposed to have come out. Okay.
Oh, that's
Wow,
That's
Corwin, that
They-
is just
they-
dark, man. That is
They
just
may have
dark.
even spent $800 on a spaceship, right?
Oh no.
And still,
Hey, they better
Like-
they
like,
better have
imagine-
made a wish them all the way
imagine
through the
if somebody,
studio and
like,
let them play it.
Make a wish, some Star Citizen $800 ship, and then didn't get to use it.
That is harsh, man.
It's fucked up.
Jesus Christ. Really, Corwin? You just had to take it there, man.
That is like sadness pornography right there.
Well, the cast just
Oh.
went really dark.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm choking on my own coughing here. But okay, so what about the Steam sales themselves?
I thought the Steam sales were amazing, and I'm not entirely sure, but I believe that I owe an apology to the developers behind Don't Starve.
Why?
Because before, like, I was really, really pissed because I thought I was gonna pay like 15 to 20 bucks for Don't Starve and then another 20 for Don't Starve Together, not including any of the DLC. But I went to pick it up maybe or I was gonna go look at it to see about picking it up for the Steam sale. And they were on sale pretty cheap, so I was gonna grab both of them and just be like, whatever. And then I found one that was the Don't Starve collection.
Oh.
And it was like 16 bucks, and I got all of the DLC, the single player game, 2 copies of Don't Starve Together. That being the huge thing, 2 copies of Don't Starve
That's
Together.
pretty good. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and I looked and it says regular $26.88 or something like that. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
if I missed that before, then I was the one being a rube. But at the same time,
Yep.
like, why are they still listed separately? Why don't you just have them as that
Yeah,
package?
I agree.
Yeah. Well, it's like every time I do a queue, it tries to push on the non-game of the year edition of Fallout 3 that I do not have, that I don't
Yeah.
want, because why would I buy that when I have the game of the year edition?
Yeah, have you seen that Indigala is doing a hentai game bundle again?
Oh my god. Actually, I have something funny to tell you guys you'll get a
And of
kick
course,
out of.
It's never like it's never anything classy that they do with hentai games, right? it's always like there are classy. It may sound strange, but there are classy hentai games like Tsukihime or whatever. But instead, what they have is this is this is actually just me quoting the titles. The great invention of the sexy era. Magical teacher, my teacher is a mage ? And they have like the
Censored
cover
stuff
just
on it, yeah.
censored out, spread legs, and then
the third one.
the last one is the best. Hypno training my mother and sister. Okay.
Wow.
I am not even remotely shitting you. Hypno training my mother and sister, and it's got two women
Yeah.
getting a bit intimate together.
The other
on
two
it.
are Cosplay Alien and Conquering the Queen.
Yeah, this is the classiest of shit here.
What was your story though? Good.
No, so I told okay, god damn it. So you guys know when Kuma gave me GTA 5, I like mentioned it to Corwin over in the Google chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was going to lunch that day and I was talking to some of my coworkers and I was like, yeah, if somebody gives me a game, I feel kind of obligated to like put it in a stream and at least look at it. So they of course sent me Hatoful Boyfriend and Shower with Your Dad Simulator. So now I get to play some wonky, weird, fucking Japanese hentai game about like a person pretending to be a bird trying to screw a bird person.
That's pretty much how it is. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Hatoful Boyfriend, right? Like heartful or maybe hateful. It can be both, but Hatoful.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is exactly that. And there's Battle Crab. Battle
on you
Crab
if you
in
don't
chat
find
is the
pigeon
guy who
tracks.
sent me Shower with Your Dad Simulator. Oh my
I saw
god.
PewDiePie playing that.
A lot of people have asked us to play Honey Pop, and
I am so
think
glad I didn't get that.
eventually, you know what? I'll tell you though. At least Honey Pop has a decent fucking puzzle game in it. That's all I'm saying. Also, Honey Pop doesn't even take itself like joke seriously. And to a certain degree, I don't really mind that kind of thing in the sense that it's just whatever. It just takes a kind of throwing it all out there attitude towards stuff.
Yeah, I'm literally just glad I didn't get Honey Pop because I hear that's even worse.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm just like, why did I say that? I think I might have to revise this theory. No, like my bigger
Throwing down the
concern
gauntlet.
is I'm like, I do 3-hour streams. Like I'm not streaming a TOEFL Boyfriend for 3 hours. I'm just not.
Well, it is kind of walls of
Oh,
text
but-
and pictures of birds.
Okay, here's the difference, right, between Hatoful Boyfriend and Honey Pop, right? The difference is that Hatoful Boyfriend exists for PewDiePie to play it and get millions of people wanting it because it's YouTube bait.
Even though they would
And
never
they'll end up
alone want to
buying
play
it,
it.
even though it's a totally shit game.
They'll
It's like,
open it one time.
It's the shittiest game to ever shit. And
It is made with RPG. I mean, that open source.
yeah, whatever. Renpy, I
yeah,
believe.
Renpy,
I think
yeah,
it's or
it's a-
Renpy, I
Renpy.
believe.
It's an open source visual novel creator.
Yeah. But I think that at least Honey Pop was made with the intention of people actually playing the game and enjoying it for what it is.
And now Battle Crab is in chat saying that I probably shouldn't play either for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll just do a
Well,
split stream.
People might think you're a little bit obsessed if you play Shower with Dad for 3 hours. Okay, that would. I don't think that game's another example of pure YouTube bait, but at least it's super cheap.
It's also really, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Jim Sterling's, like, review of it or whatever, but it's actually not a bad game. Like, they did some really interesting things with it.
It's like, okay, you know what I would say about Honey Pop? Honey Pop is the video game equivalent of a romance novel. That's with a little bit of gameplay. That's what I'd say. And it's not the worst thing in the universe. The writing is incredibly trashy, but it's just a thing, you know. And whereas Hatoful Boyfriend is just confusing as shit. I've actually played them both. Okay.
Corwin, you've let us know about your secret.
It's not secret.
It's not secret. No.
He tells everybody.
Yeah.
He's seen things you can't imagine.
Yeah, I've seen things you can't imagine.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to.
Yeah, you probably don't. I remember at one point we were discussing some weird shit like this, maybe during your charity live stream. But
Oh my god, the chat right now. No, like I'm glad that is the worst that I got. But it's still crazy, man. Like I got that, and then when I got back, Lazy Dragon sent me Hand of Fate, which I was actually going to buy the day before, so it's kind of good that I didn't. But the Steam sales were phenomenal. Like I got Deus Ex Human Revolution, or yeah, is it Human Revolution?
Yes.
I got that for like $5.
Have you gotten Just Cause yet?
No, I did not.
Okay, well if you haven't, then I will get it for you because I got it in the Square Enix bundle, and it's like I don't need it, so
cool. I am gonna be busy streaming a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna get you They Bleed Pixels, but it's like $10 or some insane, outrageous thing like that. What I got it was $2.50.
Yeah, no, I got a ton of Steam gift cards for. Oh shit. Oh god damn it.
What?
Oh, you have to be kidding me, really? Really? Oh
What?
fuck. You know what? This is so bad that it has to be shown. It absolutely has to be shown. You guys just go ahead and occupy yourselves for one moment. I'm gonna get a window capture ready here so that I can cry in sadness at the kindness of
Somebody
others.
sent you Honey Pop, didn't they?
Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's so bad. It's so bad.
Watched me playing They Bleed Pixels, and I came really close to rage quitting in the episode that we put up the other day.
Yeah, that it gets harder and harder and crazier and crazier. That game is slow torture.
I ended up feeling like I wanted to take my Honey Pop Deluxe Edition.
I called it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much, Lazy Dragon. I love the message. Good. I'm not sorry.
That you'll be surprised. Okay?
Seriously.
I genuinely think you'll be surprised at how it's a decent puzzle game. And it's there's a reason why it got so popular. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god.
It's porn bejeweled.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. I
Dude,
can still
exactly.
decline. I can still decline. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. I
Porn
surrender.
Bejeweled, aka Pearl Necklace.
Oh my god.
I had to go there.
Oh my god.
I'm requesting a video of it because I don't want to even watch it or buy it.
Oh dear god.
You know,
I'm never ever going to say that I'm glad it wasn't worse again.
Honestly, I think people might appreciate the awkward factor of me and Uko playing it together on the channel.
Oh, we'll stream that. I don't give a crap.
Oh my god, I can imagine what that sounds like now.
I have no shame.
Lazy Dragon says they regret nothing.
Yeah,
That's pretty much how it is.
Oh.
Regret is not in my vocabulary.
Exactly. I'll tell you what's weird though, right? I passed 900 games on my Steam in the Steam sale, and you don't Twitch stream Honey Pop. They don't like you doing it. YouTube doesn't care.
Really? Is that a thing?
That's actually a thing. It's to me it's insane that it's actually banned from Twitch. It's actually banned from Twitch.
I guess what it is, they just sort of paint all of that type of game with the same brush and, you know, whatever.
The thing is, if it was on television, people wouldn't really think anything of it, honestly. and yet it's banned on Twitch.
It's a contextual thing.
Although
It
I will
honestly
say,
is.
at least partially in Honey Pop's case, it's because Honey Pop has an adult version that has like total nudity in it.
Wait, I missed something in chat. Somebody's talking about They Bleed Pixels.
Oh yeah, we were talking about They Bleed Pixels. Asriel actually watched one of our videos on it and saw the insanity.
Yeah, it's ridiculously pornographically difficult.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Wait, how is something pornographically difficult?
Watch the video and you'll see.
Oh
It's
my
like
god.
what it is. Okay, you know, people will post like food porn, you know, where it's like, hey, look at these nachos, they're all cheesy and gooey, or like architecture porn. Look at those arches. Well, it's rage porn. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just they make the game punishingly difficult, you know, and it's like a roguelike style thing where you have to start, or like Hotline Miami or whatever else, where you have to start over the beginning of the checkpoint system to, you know, every time, and then they do everything they can to make it torturous, which is the point of the game, but it still is evil.
Honey Pop is one of the specifically prohibited games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And some of these are just ridiculously, like, you can read the name and it's pretty obvious you shouldn't be showing these to anybody ever. But the thing that really shocks me is Hatred is on this list?
Yeah, I know.
Really?
We've talked about that before, how it's like...
No, and
It's
Fahrenheit,
Honey Pop,
Indigo
in my
Prophecy is on the
opinion.
list.
Like, to be honest though, I don't understand why any of those Sakura games are banned either. It doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
to me.
it's just
Because-
it's really insensitive,
I mean-
because it's a matter of it would be banned whether they looked at it or not. It's
Yeah.
just, it's a reputation thing.
Like, I really
But why
don't
is
understand-
Indigo Prophecy banned?
I believe it has... it was rated AO by the ESRB is the reason why, but honestly, I think that Manhunt 2 and Indigo Prophecy are only banned because of the fact that they wanted to ban Hatred from it, so they banned all AO games. Previously they didn't ban all AO games, so they just decided to ban Manhunt 2 and the director's cut of Indigo Prophecy, so that they could also ban Hatred. I mean, like, Hatred should be banned for being shit, right? It should be banned for being shit, but
It's true. It's
So Battlecrab is saying there's some full frontal nudity in the Euro version.
oh
yeah. But regardless, I don't know, it's kind of weird, right? Those Sakura games, YouTube would never give you any shit for posting them. The same thing with Honey Pop. And it just seems as if, to me, they won't want you to scream Gretzo 1 and 2 either. We did Gretzo on our channel.
I see why.
I can see why, because we censored out some horrifically fucked up shit that was in that game. Horrifically fucked up. Like, I mean, the game starts out with you shooting up a church, so...
And it goes crazier from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it has stuff that is... it has stuff that would absolutely get the channel shut down.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I think that was just the sound of Uko not dying from coughing.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I saw a video not too long ago, and I showed Gore this in talking about games that are taking things like way too far. There was a gaming convention that had a VR system, and it had a sex game, and it shows this guy. They have like this little inflatable body that comes with the game, and he's testing it at a convention, and I guess he just got so like hormone riddled or whatever. He goes after that inflatable doll like they couldn't take it away from him.
Oh, that is fucked up, man.
Oh,
Guys,
that
guys,
image is gonna
guys,
stick with me for a while.
guys. Slow down. You
It
need
got
to
to the
understand,
point
this is
where-
what happens when you unleash an inflatable doll on a 40-year-old virgin.
Oh no, he was
like
like
16 or 17.
yeah. And the worst part was he was like switching it around, getting it in different positions, and they were trying to get the VR back.
And
And he was like, no,
okay,
he's like pushing him
God.
away.
Oh
what
my
this is?
god.
What this is some viral marketing, right?
I agree.
They
Someone
paid some guy to act that way,
to
so
completely
people would think that their VR porn was amazing.
Yeah. They paid someone to just permanently jettison his dignity.
No, they probably got him one of those like really, really good masks that makes you really actually look like somebody else.
like in the freaking Jackass movies and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
legitimately.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
you
Oh
know,
my
given
god.
that we talked about that, I have to actually since it's an actual word now, I have to say teledildonics. Okay, that's what
What?
it's called.
It's a real word.
Teledildonics is when you're fucking people over the internet, like
Using
You
machines.
got like you got a penis on one side, a penis machine on one side,
Oh,
and you
I've
got a
seen
vagina
that.
machine on the other side, and people go to town on that shit. Teledildonics.
Oh my
Like
god.
hovering wasn't enough.
Well, it's not.
This is what my podcast has
just saying.
become.
You tell me
So
it's enough.
emphatic. Well, it's not.
Oh my god. This is so far from gaming now.
Whoa,
It's still games.
it's still games.
Okay, if we want to switch topics to gaming, I found something that was on a on a Yahoo article last night where there's like this elderly lady, I think she's like 97 or something like that, that's streaming on YouTube video gaming.
I've heard of
You
this.
mean
No,
Shirley
no.
Curry or whatever?
Yes,
Yes.
Shirley Curry is so adorable.
Yeah, she's
It is
recording.
absolutely
Is she live streaming? I thought she was recording
She's
Elder
playing,
Scrolls.
She's playing Skyrim on
Skyrim,
YouTube.
Fallout 4, Ark.
Ark.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait, so that means I can find out what server she's playing on and do griefing on an 83-year-old woman.
Yes, actually, you could.
Oh my god,
Oh.
spicy.
Oh. She's like, and
See,
I
I'm
was
using-
teabagging people before you were born, son.
Oh,
Oh wow. Oh god. You know what
I
though?
think it's
More power to
adorable.
her.
oh yeah, it's awesome.
That is great. I knew she was playing Skyrim, but I mean Skyrim you can play and be okay depending on how things are set up.
Oh,
But Ark? Holy shit.
Yeah, that's hardcore. Compared,
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
compared
you
to what
don't
you
even
would
want
think.
to know how far she got in Arc either, man. She's got like level 92 Raptor mount. I mean, it's insane.
She's
Well, it always it makes me think about the old dudes who who would always be like, hey, I want that phone that has the giant buttons. I don't want a screen on my phone. Blah blah blah. And then it's like, didn't you drive a tank during the war, jackass? It's like, should they have really given you the tank if you're this dumb? You could figure that crap out. Stop like fronting about it.
But you know, what that made me think of, right, is it's a good thing they didn't get her Rust, because then her character would have been randomly made not white, and she would have gone on a 20-minute race.
Oh no! Oh god!
Wow. Wow.
But we had a discussion, like, if she's like in her 90s or whatever, like, think about how far back that was. That was before TVs were even going.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think she's
And here
actually
she
only
is, she's-
73 or something like that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
okay. But like still, she has like apparently dual monitors. She's capturing
That's cool.
everything and editing it to put it on YouTube.
And I mean, it goes to show that, if somebody is applying themselves to what they're doing and actually learns it as a skill, that, there's no reason to say, okay, well, someone's, too old as like a quality, of themselves somehow. People wouldn't be surprised if she got a pilot's license.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's like it's the fact that she did actually commit to it.
And
well, look at Harrison
like,
Ford.
honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
when I'm 73, I will still totally be doing whatever the latest crazy shit is. So
Well, also, I've thought before several times, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast, but in 50 years or so, there's going to be a situation where the old folks' homes are going to become basically all the people who are in really more like in 70, 80 years, all the people who are squeakers now, they're going to become squeakers again from the old folks' home. it's going to be, instead of yelling at their mom to get them chocolate milk, they'll be yelling at the nurses to get them prune juice while they're yelling, while they're trolling everyone.
Yup.
And it's going to be worse because they really will have just 24 hours a day. Wait until they die. And then even worse, they're going to start dying while they're in the game.
You're gonna get so much verbal abuse by geriatric people in the future in video games.
Hey, what's up,
God, instead of saying that
88?
they did stuff to your mom, they'll be like, I did this stuff to your daughter.
Or your granddaughter.
Oh,
Oh, good lord.
Oh. We have gone completely off the deep end here.
No, yeah,
it's
the
also my
deep end
belief
has.
that as things like the Omni, that the universal treadmill for VR, as stuff like that comes along, and even stuff we can't imagine yet, if it goes in a direction of physical VR simulation and not plugging into the back of your head like in the Matrix, well, you'll be able to tell who is a serious gamer nerd by who is ripped to the freaking nines and back. People are going to be like just completely hard-bodied, and you'll be able to say, oh, he's a gamer. Huge gamer nerd. Look at his six-pack.
Oh.
No, so have you guys done anything with the virtual reality stuff?
We have
yes.
a Rift.
Oh, do you?
You remember we were talking about that weird porn game we found where you could like kick the naked ladies up in the air with your weird ass naked legs? It was surreal.
It really was. I'll tell you, the part that really bummed me about it is it was probably the most convincing VR system.
It was like using Unreal 4.
Yeah, it was amazing.
The best part was, like, you look down and your character has this constant raging boner.
Like the size of a baseball bat.
You would do the sex in the game would be that you would target this woman and then you would like press a button on your Xbox controller to make her like switch positions, but you actually had to move. You had to like tell your character to crouch down, and he'd be like crouching in this weird way where his like legs and knees are out forward, like he's sitting on a toilet and taking a dump. And there's his dick just there, and you got to position your dick to where it'll look like the woman is going down on you.
So basically, instead of doing that, we dribbled them like soccer balls into the air with moon gravity.
Yeah, moon gravity for some reason.
Oh my god!
I actually laughed so hard that I was crying inside the VR helmet thing. I was afraid I was going to mess it up. I am not joking.
Oh dear God!
It's like if only we could have streamed that.
Yeah, but that's banned for sure. You don't even need to ask if that's banned.
Yep.
But okay, we got to tell the story about the height difference. And I guess the height difference means that your eyes are farther apart, even though I thought my head was bigger than yours. Anyway, so did you enter your height into the thing?
Yeah, like when you get the Rift, you have to enter your height and the difference between the size of your eye
As a
distance
profile.
between your eyes. And so we were playing
Dying Light.
And Dying Light looks amazing.
It's really
It looks
convincing.
amazing.
It's actually
on
the best thing
Oculus.
that we played on.
And it's really convincing. And but Uko was like, man, everything seems really like small. And he's about 6 inches shorter than me, and I think that like from my perspective, everything was the right size. But
when
from
we
his
had just
perspective,
forgotten
everything was
that we
like low
calibrated
down and small.
So
It's really
once we
strange.
calibrated it back to me, everything looked the right size.
Yeah, that is so weird.
It was so bizarre, and it blew my mind. It was like a shower thought, or like while you're stoned type of thought. It was like, wow, that's what objects look like to someone who's bigger than me. It's like they're smaller, man. It completely it bugged me out, man. It was a trip.
Okay, Lazy Dragon in YouTube chat is asking, what do you do if your mom walks in while you're watching VR porn?
Well, it's if you have the monitor off, she can't tell.
I don't think that's the issue.
Yeah, believe me, that wasn't the issue either. What you're thinking? Because we were laughing ourselves to death.
Oh my god.
I believe I couldn't. That wouldn't have been it for me when I was 13. Okay, it was laughing material, not tapping material. Oh, but I got to tell you all about the screaming moment in Dying Light. And if we had video of this, it would have gone super mega viral. Okay. We actually do. We have the audio still?
Yeah, we have the audio.
We
still,
have the
so
audio.
We'll actually get it at some point and play it.
Yeah, we'll
like,
do this.
I went. I was like, okay, I'll let Uko play the Oculus Dying Light for a while.
And if you play Dying Light,
and so I'm like, I'm gonna go and get something to eat while he's doing this. And so he's playing, and I suddenly hear the most like blood curdling shriek coming from in my computer room.
I have never screamed like that in my life. I guess this is what I would. It really is what I would sound like if a zombie popped up in my face totally unexpectedly. And I've certainly never screamed ever playing a video game. I'll play Doom 3. I'll play, whatever. I used to play more horror games than I do. Never even uttered a peep. But what it was, if you played Dying Light during the night sequences, you have the hunter-killer zombies that'll, roam around and hunt you. And they're usually at low levels. You can't even take them on. So I'm hiding on a rooftop balcony, and they're crawling around and stuff. And so I'm watching one of them, and then another one crawls up the wall directly into my face. And I just go, ah! And Coleman hears it from the other room and can't figure out what's happening, and then remembers, oh yeah, he's got the freaking helmet on, and he just got the crap scared out of him. He comes in there, starts laughing his ass off.
Yeah,
but it was amazing. That was when I got sold on VR though, because my body believed there was a zombie in my face.
Yeah.
No, totally. I was gonna say the same thing because I used a friend's. Actually, it was Battle Crab. I used his like little Samsung VR headset, and it's got like this one little game where you walk through like a dungeon, and there's some really spooky shit. And I literally jumped in the chair that I was sitting in. It was unbelievably real.
I've actually seen that game being played somewhere at a convention or something, on YouTube. I remember seeing that. It looked good.
I could never play a game like that. I could never play a game like that because I think I would have like furniture broken or something. I'd be like kicking and punching.
Oh
something.
yeah.
Dread Halls apparently is the name of the game.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me, man. I jumped and did a little yip in the middle of the workplace.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but the Oculus is a really cool thing. I have a feeling that the Vive thing or whatever it's called will be a lot nicer.
Yeah. What's funny is it may be that that their hardware is sort of that their stuff is built around their hardware and it will be better because the one game that I played on the Rift that really gave me serious, really pit of the stomach, painful motion sickness was Half-Life 2.
Yeah. Although Half-Life 2 has really amazing like aiming and stuff with the Oculus, it's really quite nice.
I would like to do Mirror's Edge or Mirror's Edge 2 like that.
Legitimately, yeah. That apparently it's really good.
Yeah,
I haven't tried it yet.
It probably is really hard to play on the Rift, and I could see that being potentially a problem trying to play it on the Rift, honestly.
Just rain on Asriel's parade, why don't you? No, God, Corwin, what the hell, man?
Because of the fact that there's a lot of stuff with looking in the right direction, and suddenly you're going to be like, breaking your neck trying to turn around and look at that wall for your wall jumping or whatever.
Well,
I can see that.
Here's the interesting bit y'all don't know. I'm partially blind. I don't have depth perception, so I'm wondering what it would be like.
Oh, that's really interesting.
That is really interesting. I wonder if maybe you would get less motion sickness or what. That's really interesting.
So I'm going to hell for saying this, but when you asked that, Asriel, all I pictured was like your avatar in game, like smacking into walls over and over, trying to parkour.
Somehow that reminded me.
Here's the funny part. She cannot jump in game at all. So seeing that would be very interesting. Climbing up walls like a I don't know, like Spider-Man having an embolism.
It's true. I can't do platformers at all. I just like throw myself off cliffs. I'm terrible. I cannot jump
So
at all.
you would not want to be playing Beyblade Pixels, right?
No.
that's
That
the
made me
ultimate
want to rage
platformer.
quit, and I wasn't even playing it.
You know, I had way back in my old WoW guild. It's still the same guild, but she hasn't been playing WoW in a while. There was this woman we had in our guild, and she did a lot of drinking, and at one point she would always treat me like a little brother. And at one point she was drunk running through a dungeon with me, and she's like started to say about how, oh man, my monitor just went out, and I find her character running up against the completely black wall, and she thinks the monitor is out.
Oh, I forgot about that entirely.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Such good times.
Like, how do you be like? How do you ignore your interface? How are you that drunk? Oh, that's good times.
Oh, she was drunk.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Good has ran with me in games and stuff. He knows how bad I am with directions in games. See, in real life, I can get anywhere. I can get back to home. You know, I don't get lost. But in games, fucking forget it. I can't find my ass from a hole in the ground. It's terrible. Nobody better follow me because I'm going to lead you all to death.
That is absolutely 100% untrue. Because, like, when we ran raids and dungeons in Secret World, you were fine. You did all the movement stuff fine.
Yeah, because I had done them a bazillion times. You were never there the first time I did it.
Oh.
First time we did one of the dungeon raids in the Secret World, we literally were at close to the ending, and she ran us all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, Corwin, tell the story about City of Villains.
Which one?
The creepiest thing that ever happened to us in a game.
See, Uko thinks that I have magical abilities in video games.
It spooked me out. It's the only thing I've ever encountered that it could in any way be supernatural. You take it because it's better from your perspective.
Essentially, we were in a dungeon in City of Villains, and it had like semi-random events where people would suddenly like attack you from behind.
But we'd never seen any of those events. It was the first time we'd ever seen them.
For some reason, I had a feeling they were coming at us from behind, and I'd like turn around and start laying into them.
He says to me, hold on, someone's following us from behind. And this was the first time we played the game, and we'd never played anything that had that mechanic in it. We turn around, here's mobs coming at us from the dungeon. It was really, really creepy.
Because I used to be a really, really good gamer, and then my eyesight like destroyed itself, and now I am what I am.
Bringing us down to sadness again.
Yeah.
Well, then there's another thing too. When we used to play Secret World, when we first got the game, we were on laptops, and we would get like 3 frames per second when you were in the main hub, and like it would suck so bad. So we got used to adjusting for lag because I think our best at that point would be like 18 to 20 frames per second. So we were like dropping frames left and right. So that's how I learned how to do the dungeons. So by the time Good played with us in game, that was why I had gotten so much better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, y'all were playing on easy mode after you got where you could play.
Yeah, pretty much.
However, it still doesn't explain how she ended up getting us all the way back to the beginning.
Shut up.
I remember, though, if we're speaking of crazy MMO stories, that same woman who is still a really good friend of mine, and the guy involved in this isn't, she had been like occasionally going and visiting and like, you know, long range dating a guy in the guild, and she was like supposedly going to move out and live with him, and then literally about 5 minutes after she was supposed to meet him at the airport, she like informed him that she had actually never bought the ticket or intended to move out with him. that is ice cold.
That is
And
horrible.
he
Wow.
he like removed himself from the guild and never was seen again.
Wow.
Ice cold.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. It was. Believe me, that was awkward. You want award-winning awkward?
The
There
thing
it
is,
is.
she was my friend and he was some asshole.
So what you're saying is that your friend is a douche, and by association, no.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much how it goes. See, sticking up for friends, there's an ugly side to it too.
Yes.
It's always like everyone always wants to hear about the sticking up for your friend that takes the form of like, I heard you were sad on Thanksgiving, so come over and have dinner. You know, but there's that other side where it's like, wow, you were doing that shit, huh? Well,
Yep.
not gonna punch you
Actually,
in the face.
When we first started playing WoW, we were in college, and one of the people that was in our class with us is now married to someone that we met in like the first year of playing WoW. So that's a much more uplifting version of that story.
It was cool because he was a very reserved guy, and nobody expected when just suddenly he's like, well, I raised enough money to just take off to another, take off to another
he went
state.
he went off to New York, and like everybody thought he was being catfished, but totally not.
It was all good. And you would never have. It was cool because you never would have expected this guy to suddenly take off for New York.
Yeah, you'd never in a million years.
So was you guys' like WoW guild called like speed dating or something like that?
Pretty much this is every
that
WoW
one
guild.
had a really funny thing though. I remember like this other guy. It was some really weird situation. One of the people in our guild was some Romanian guys, which is really weird that it would be Romanian guys in an American WoW guild because they have European servers. But they owned a land center or something like that, and the one guy was an employee, the other guy was the owner, and the guy who was the owner was constantly like using the other guy as his WoW slave to farm up gold and stuff. But he was like trying to lavish this girl with like stuff to win her affections, and then like one day she like returns all of the stuff to him, and was then sort of with this other dude who was our buddy, and it was just I don't know what about that just made me laugh so hard about this guy having all of his like stuff returned.
So like was it BOE and she never put it on?
Yeah, she never put it on. She's like she never equipped it.
That's the burn. It's like you collect all of it and then be like, boom, here's it all. Here all that stuff is back.
Yep.
Oh man.
I mean, that guy was a creeper pervert though, so he deserved everything that he got.
Legit.
I would have kicked the shit though.
Wow.
Yep. So would I.
Okay, so we are at about, we just broke the hour mark. We don't really have too many other topics for tonight unless somebody else has one in chat. If not, I am super, super looking forward to going and playing Shadow Warrior because I picked that up.
Oh, Shadow Warrior is an
You
awesome
will
awesome
love that.
game. You will
Seriously
enjoy it.
It's got style.
I read the little novel book of it a long time ago, and it was like the coolest shit ever. It was like James Bond if James Bond was a badass magic ninja dude with a really bad sense of humor.
For real, that's exactly what it is. Exactly.
I love Lo Wang, right? And like basically, okay, let me tell you, kill the rabbits. If you see any rabbits, fucking murder them. Okay, murder the shit
You'll be
out
glad
of all
you
the
did.
rabbits.
We won't tell you why.
You'll see occasionally some random attacks, you'll see what happens with the rabbits. Anyway, the rabbits, they gotta go.
Just let us know when it happens.
And it's a bunch of weird stuff in that game. Almost everything can explode in that game.
Wow.
When you see the arcade machines, hit them with your sword.
Oh yeah,
it'll be great.
Pretty much anything that can explode in the game can be even things that you wouldn't think would explode.
Except snowmen.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah, what's
snowmen
up with that?
cannot explode.
But they
But
do
they
catch on
burn.
fire.
Yeah, they burn.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Oh,
Game Goon. Okay,
mean,
so Game Goon asked a
one of the things you
question.
can have. Do you own Saints Row 4?
Yes, I do.
Well, then you can use the dildo bat weapon
In
in Shadow Warrior.
yeah,
Oh my god,
it's glorious.
Yes.
it's
Actually,
glorious.
one of our subscribers at one point was like, "Please stop using the dildo bat."
Fine. Was there a question?
Game Goon's question was: have any of us made mods for a game? Have you
Probably
guys?
at some point worked on something?
Actually, I did make a mod. I made a mod for
yeah.
Audio Surf. I made 2 or 3 mods for Audio Surf.
Yeah, like he made a mod for Audio Surf called Hello Surf, I believe.
Yeah, for Halloween, it was where I replaced the.
It was a really popular mod. You can look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, and so I replaced the little car with a witch, and then put pumpkins for the little. It's a music puzzle game, so the little blocks or whatever. I put pumpkins and coffins and other stuff, and then I did a Christmas one, where I had
Like a sleigh.
a sleigh, Santa sleigh, and then Christmas trees in the background. Oh, and I did a Hello Surf too, where I replaced the ship with the candy corn.
Yep.
Flying around and some other stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the only mods I've done.
I made a mod for Neverwinter Nights just so that I could cheat and put like the ultimate weapon in it and take it and bring it back to the main game.
That's cool. Oh wait, we modded Jedi Knight.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch of cheat modding in online Jedi Knight like crazy.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But the only thing I've done that I would say was a legit mod was you guys have all played Fallout New Vegas. Well, I mean, if you haven't played it, you've seen something about it.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah, we've played it.
so you know how like depending on the faction you go with, you get that duster at the end. Like you either get the one with "Hey, what's up, Washini?" You either get the one that's got the NCR on the back, or the one that's got the bull for the Legion, or the one that's got the blackjack or the spade in 21. Like, I always felt like the spade in 21 was a really shitty logo to have for, like, being the independent ruler of Vegas. So I went in and I pulled out the...
Giant penis.
So I went in and I pulled out the actual model for it and stuff, and went in and I did a retexture of it that, like, changed that into, like, a really worn out, like, almost, I don't know, like, painted on, like,
Giant
Phoenix.
penis.
Oh, that's cool. Like weathered and stuff.
Yeah, and I just had that like for the character because I like that better as a symbol, like the idea of the fact that you were shot in the head and came back.
Legit. That's
Yeah.
cool. That is cool.
And the giant penis was where?
Nowhere.
Look,
That's
it will
Fallout
rise
4.
again.
Okay,
Oh,
so I
That
got
is
a
cool,
question. What is the best and worst game you guys have played this year?
the worst
Ooh.
game has to be Hatred. Okay, that's instantly worst
Yeah,
game.
it's at
Hatred.
least most disappointing for me because I thought it was going to be
No,
at least
it
better
was
than
just
it
the
was.
worst game.
Best game,
Best game for me is probably a tie between Fallout 4 and Hotline Miami 2.
yeah, Hotline Miami 2 may actually be mine.
Yeah,
Be my
Hotline Miami
best
2 was a
one.
really fun game.
So for me personally, it's much easier for me to personally pick a best game than it is to pick a worst game. But if I had to pick a best game, I would probably go with Darkest Dungeons this year. Just because I've had an absolute blast with that game and I never don't enjoy playing it.
That's cool.
And I know that's personal
I got an honorable
taste.
mention for game that I dislike, and that's The Witcher 3. I don't like The Witcher. Fuck that game.
That came out this year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my worst game. I'm not even
we
kidding.
agree
My
about
only
something like
okay, so this was the part I was gonna say that I knew was gonna be controversial. My 2 nominees for worst game are The Witcher 3 and Fallout 4, and you can hate me if you want to, but both of them just like disappointed the shit out of me. Both of them were those big like, okay guys, this is the one you've been waiting for, and they just fell flat.
Honestly, I can tell you, for you, Hatred is definitely a worse game.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But the difference is there was no anticipation at all for hatred.
No, but trust me, it's definitely a worse game.
Okay,
And of
that
course,
brings
that
up a
does come back to
question.
the fact that I think that 20 years ago, I would really love.
Okay, hold on. Before we continue, there are some things in chat that must be addressed.
I
Washini,
think Fallout
I
4
have
is really
eaten.
good.
I have eaten a banana, but I'm allergic to them, so I don't eat them now. And Battle Crab is gonna poop on my desk for hating on Fallout 4 and The Witcher.
I would love to go back in time and run an experiment where to build up a giant hype train for something like Doom, like the original Doom, or Wolfenstein 3D, or Descent, or any random game, and see if psychologically people felt hatred for them if they didn't come up to whatever the specific pollution that came into their head for what they thought it should be. Because that was the beauty of stuff 20 years ago, is that stuff would just you'd be vaguely aware of it, but you wouldn't see any preview videos because you couldn't watch videos on the internet, and it would just be like you'd see ads in magazines, and then suddenly the game would come out and you'd play the the shareware thing, or you just buy the game or whatever, and that would be how you would find out about it. And I think that was something that was better.
Yeah, so I wanna address Washini real quick. Washini, I do agree that Fallout 4 is pretty good. I'm not saying that Fallout 4 is a bad game, and I'm not saying The Witcher 3 are bad games. I'm saying that for me personally, they are my worst games of the
Witcher 3
year.
is a bad game. But I can accept that for other people it isn't. So
When I say worst
it's
game
one
of the
those
year, though,
things.
like it's important to put perspective on that. When I say worst game of the year, for me, that is literally of the games that I have purchased this year, which ones do I have almost no motivation to play? And it's those two.
That's an interesting way of looking at it too, in terms of motivation to play, which is different than a sort of art criticism level of running down whether it's good or not. That those are very separate issues.
And I guess another thing I would mention too is that Postal 2 Paradise Lost, the mod after 12 years or whatever, or the expansion after 12 years, is something that I think was really, really good, especially given that it's a mod for, or an expansion for a game that was originally kind of shitty, honestly.
But they made it really cool.
Yeah.
And they parodied Fallout New Vegas. First of all, if you if you didn't realize that, it is a straight parody of Fallout New Vegas.
What is?
As far as
the Postal 2 Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost.
Yeah.
Really?
Which is weird because first of all, it came out of nowhere as a mod,
Or as an expansion.
as an expansion 12 years after the fact.
Yeah.
But secondly, it came along and parodies New Vegas, even though wasn't current.
Yeah.
They just wanted to do that.
Honestly, it's one of those weird things where, despite being a game that was a mod, or was an expansion of a kind of shitty game that came out, 12 years ago, it's actually a really good game and probably better than most games that came out this year.
And it's also an unashamed humor game.
Yeah.
With good gameplay.
And additionally, as far as games that are, in some way offensive with their violence and whatever the fuck, a much, much better version of what they did with Hatred.
Yeah, agreed. It's not exploitative or stupid.
Okay,
yeah.
so Gore had a quick question.
What would you guys say would be the highlight of this year for you as far as gaming goes?
That's a really good question.
That's a bit of
That's
an
why I
odd
asked
one
it.
right there. For me. I guess really honestly, I would say that Postal 2 Paradise Lost, as far as being a thing that nobody would have ever expected and actually turning out to be quite good, was a
that was
serious
definitely
highlight
up
for me.
there. Also, okay, when you got the when you 100%ed Hotline Miami 2.
Also, finding out about Project Brutality and having some of the people who made it contact us.
Oh
and,
yeah, that
talk
was
about how
awesome.
they like our videos. That's a really cool
Oh,
thing.
and having custom maps made for us in. Actually, that's the biggest one, is having custom maps made for us in Hotline Miami 2.
Yeah, that's
Seeing our logo in a map, that was freaking awesome.
it. Absolutely.
Okay, so for me, uh, and Game Goon actually just made me realize it. The biggest thing this year for me, the thing that shocked me the most, was that I actually enjoyed League of Legends.
That would shock me. I have not messed with it.
Oh, actually, no. Along those lines, um, finding out about Metal Slug thanks to the YouTube channel.
Yes, that's one of the games
We've never played a Metal Slug game ever.
Yeah, we love it now.
But we love it now.
Huge.
Just not our kind of thing at all. And now we absolutely love those games. We played through the entire series, all 7 games on our channel.
And now
we
we're
found
sad
out.
that there aren't any more.
Now we're sad that it's over. Well, it's one of the really cool things about having a YouTube channel is that you can, like, your fans can teach you about games you had no idea existed, and then you can teach them about games they didn't know existed.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Oh, actually, you know what? Lazy Dragon makes a good point, and this actually, I might put this. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go around this for a second. Lazy Dragon has said Undertale, and to be 100% honest, if I take it back and I go, my most surprising moment of this year was actually watching people play Undertale and realizing like how awesome that game is, because it is literally like, it feels like I'm playing or watching an old Super Nintendo RPG again. It feels like Earthbound to me.
I have
really
never
cool.
played Earthbound. I can admit that. I've never played it.
And Battle
It's
Crab.
really-
Oh wait, go ahead. I'll let you finish, Spicy.
It's really weird to me that Earthbound was this thing that I'd basically only occasionally ever heard of up until about like 6 months ago, when suddenly everybody was all like, Earthbound, Mother 3. Oh, that was the way everybody suddenly started behaving about 6 months ago.
Oh, Washini's got salt for Undertale. Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that Earthbound had this wonderful, beautiful quirkiness to it that you don't see really anywhere else in gaming, in my opinion. Like, not that type of quirkiness, and I think Undertale captured that same type of quirkiness.
Yeah, every time I've seen anybody like playing it or streaming it, I get about 2 seconds into the stream and I'm like, this is the shittiest thing I've ever seen. And that's just me though. Like, my favorite YouTubers all played it, and I was just like, fuck this shit.
It's definitely, I think it's definitely a nostalgia game for people that did play Earthbound, but it is a slower turn-based RPG, and I think it was wonderful, personally.
I mean, I love turn-based RPGs. It's just that it, to me, didn't really do anything for me.
It's also definitely like a game that is a bit more of the artistic piece than specifically the gameplay piece. Like, I don't think it's got necessarily the strongest gameplay mechanics, but at the same time, I think that the perspectives that they try to give you while you're playing it are what makes it interesting, because of the fact that, like, you can do the whole genocidal, peaceful, neutral thing.
And I'll admit that I've talked about how art style is really important to me in games, and to me, it has nothing to do with the actual, like,
The execution.
quality, as far as, like, it's whether or not it's done amazingly well or amazingly badly. It's just that the direction they went with the art style in Undertale is a real turnoff to me.
And it's nobody's fault. It's some people like it.
No, that's my point, is I think it really appeals to, like... Well, honestly, the art style is so closely matching to Earthbound, I think it really appeals to people that have a nostalgia for that game specifically.
Interesting.
Okay, I got one last question for you guys.
Okay.
Every year there seems to be a fad in gaming, whether it's a different controller, whatever, different game platform. Where do you think it's going to be going in the next year?
That is really difficult to predict. And first of all, I will cop out by saying that whatever does happen, it will, as usual, be something that nobody saw coming. But in terms of what I think might happen,
I'm gonna go in a weird direction here and say that what's gonna happen is we're gonna see a shift away from like social involvement in everything,
back toward
and
single
back
player.
toward a little bit more single player. I
And
think
given
we're gonna
that,
see.
I also predict that there will be a crash in the survival genre.
Oh yeah, big survival
that will
genre crash coming
finally
at some
the
point.
steam will the air will finally go out of that balloon, and which will give all those games
May not be next year though.
yeah, but eventually all those games that never get finished will kind of have an excuse to disappear.
I personally would like to see the end of the first-person shooter.
At least
Wow.
a change.
Ouch.
I
Wow.
I don't find it very engaging because there isn't
guess,
a
though,
lot of
that-
substance in games like that.
It's not even that it's too big to fail, it's that it's just too big. It's not in terms of success or genre or what. It's more like comedy movies. If you could say you could see it into comedy movies. It's just too big of a segment of the whole thing
Yeah.
to ever go away.
I definitely don't see first-person shooters going away. To be 100% honest, and this is just my opinion, but in the last year, we've seen a ton of indie games that are focused on being very, very punishing on the difficulty scale, and most of them are procedurally generated so that they're never the same again or a second
that
time.
will back off, I think.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to see AAAs try to adopt that a little bit in the next year, and we're going to see indie devs start to back off of it as they feel like that trend is becoming a little bit tired.
Actually, I'm gonna change what I said. What I'm gonna say is we're gonna see a bunch of clones of Life is Strange. That's what we're gonna see in the coming year.
Dude,
A bunch of Life is Strange clones.
which is actually right in line with what we're saying. It's
Yeah.
very, very, very set piece oriented, very scripted, very, very controlled. Nothing procedural about that.
Exactly.
I think that there's a lot of pressure on the game industry to make Life is Strange types of games, and we're going to see a bunch of clones of them, and most of them will fail miserably because they'll be done on the cheap by publishers just looking to have done some token effort toward like having a female lead or whatever.
Or indeed just an art game.
Based on that prediction, I want to change mine too. If that's the trend we see, if we start to see everybody doing Life is Strange type games, I think the indie devs will stick with the punishing, procedurally generated, repeatable gameplay. I think that'll continue to be a theme until the AAA industry tries to get involved in it, and then I think
then
they're
they'll
going to
be like,
abandon it.
we got to drop this like a hot brick because now it's because the hipster thing. It's like they're doing it, we can't. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't actually played Life is Strange. I have the game, and I'm sure it's probably a really good game. It's just that it's the kind of thing that you can't just, in my opinion, you can't
just say, hey, me too.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just because if you try to do it by committee or formulaically,
Especially-
it will fail.
Especially if, despite still being the evil big publisher, all you're really doing is trying to make it look like you care about like what female gamers want or whatever.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Well, you know what it would be like is you guys remember the episode of The Simpsons with Poochie the dog, where they're creating Poochie the dog by committee. It's like, can we Rastify him by 15% or so? If a game like that is written in that way, where someone thinks they know how to be in touch with the youth or whatever, it will be that bad. It will fail and be embarrassing.
Battlecrab, to be clear, I don't think anybody is trashing Life is Strange. I think quite the opposite. I think the reason that we're saying we're going to see more games like Life is Strange next year is because of how wildly successful that game was.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Big publishers will want to say, okay, make
And
me
they'll
one
shit
like
on it.
Yeah, make me one like that, and then it's going to be a shame.
I think
because
it's a really good example of an actual art game that an art game that didn't fail on some level. Because most art games, in my opinion, fail by having either the music suck, or the actual story suck, or the actual art style suck. But it was a game that did really good on all of those fronts.
You know what it's like. Just to give another analogy, I mean, I love Breaking Bad humongously, but it's like if somebody, it's like if an executive at Fox were to say, now by golly, we got to get ourselves a show like that. You make me one right now. We'll get, instead of a chemistry teacher, we'll get a janitor who's a kind-hearted janitor who becomes evil because he's cooking up crack in his basement, and and we'll just tweak it, make it good. We'll make a bunch of money off of it. That's the bastardization that I'm talking about. Saying Me Too will do it.
Actually, Battlecrab just said that he didn't think anyone was trashing it. He's not defending it. He's just saying that he's surprised more devs haven't jumped on the Telltale bandwagon, so to speak. And honestly, yeah, I feel like what we're seeing here is sort of exactly what we're talking about with the punishing indie games that are procedurally generated. It's the same sort of thing where Telltale is this smaller company that's doing these episodic story games, and then Squeenix goes, hey, we have a way, way bigger budget. We can rock this shit out of the park.
Well, actually, the developer that made Life is Strange, they made Remember Me. And if I remember correctly, the company that published Remember Me was not Square Enix, it was Capcom. And if I remember correctly, essentially they did not want to spend the necessary money developing a game with a female lead. And so the company that made Life is Strange, they went to Square and essentially got Square to sign off on something that would be a little bit more artistic, and it turned out really well for them.
Okay, speaking of female leads, good. Have you played No One Lives Forever and No One Lives Forever 2?
No.
Honestly though, I agree with Game Goon in the sense that I think that Don't Nod Studios probably doesn't have nearly the workforce that Telltale has or the money for making Life is Strange.
Agreed.
I think they made that on a serious budget and on a seriously small budget, honestly.
But yeah,
compared to the amount of money that gets put behind the Minecraft game or the Borderlands game or the Game of Thrones game, I don't think that Life is Strange had even close to that budget. It's just they did a much more modern seeming game, honestly.
Is No One Lives Forever on Steam? Have they ever released on Steam? That is a really good question that I don't know the answer to. But if you ever get a chance to play No One Lives Forever, it's a sort of James Bond-esque spy FPS game with a really, really cool female lead in an era when there were almost no female protagonists in games, and it's really, really excellent. Ooh. You would love that game.
Yeah, like Tomb Raider. No, not like Tomb Raider. I don't know. Even the new Tomb Raider, I'm not super. Like I said last time, like the fact that in the new remake of Tomb Raider, not the newest one, but the first one, the whole like Lara having to reaffirm herself every 5 seconds is
Yep.
Yeah, that was one of those things where I think that's one of those things where gaming as a medium falls down, because in a cinematic medium you can have the one moment where that affirmation happens. But in a game, there's this weird temptation to sort of stretch that out over a segment of the game, and then it just gets really repetitive, and they didn't hit that right.
I was actually just reading an article right now. Apparently, the budget they had for Life is Strange was much smaller than the budget they had for Remember Me. So they must have had a really small budget for that game. They did an incredible job.
Seriously.
With the tiny budget that they had. That's probably because they're a veteran studio.
Steam or Stream? Like, I didn't know about Stream till about 4 years ago.
I just saw Fable Scroll. So that's sad that you can't get No One Lives Forever. So I guess you have to literally like buy used copies on eBay. That's sad.
Oh yeah, Fable Scroll. Game Goon. I didn't know about Steam till about 4 years ago. But what was one of your favorite PC games you bought in a store? That is. Well, there you go. Spicy's got Half-Life.
Also, Total Annihilation.
Oh yeah.
Diablo 2.
Oh,
yo.
I'll honestly, Uko got me Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction for my 16th birthday, and that was the most incredible expansion to any game ever.
Oh yeah, no question about it.
Okay, so this is gonna suck because I think there's only one game that I've ever bought specifically in a store for PC. And as much as it pains me to admit this, it was
Sims?
WoW. It
Well,
was
okay, well
WoW.
that was actually a good game. I mean, but that was a good experience when we bought.
Yeah, we bought WoW in the store as well.
It's also a painful experience because if we had raised enough money
And
to
bought,
buy the
like,
whole table
50
full,
copies of the collector's edition,
because I
could've sold
remember
that shit for like $2,000 a pop at
Yeah.
peak value.
Yeah, I have a specific memory of the CompUSA having the giant table of them there, and that how like I can walk through it in my head how you could have bought all of those and just left them sitting in a room accumulating value.
I think the only game I ever bought for PC in a store was Age of Empires.
Oh,
It's the
Age of
only one I
Empires.
ever bought.
That's a good choice, though.
Yep, it is a very good choice. We used to play a ton of AoE.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't think
we
I've
bought a bunch of
played
games.
that.
You've never played. Oh, god damn it!
Dude, you gotta.
I love how this happens. Every time I say I haven't played something, somebody's like, "You gotta play it, man."
Well, do you guys remember there used to be in malls? There used to be a computer game store called Babbage's.
Yeah.
We remember that from when we were little, or at least I do, when I was a little tiny kid. And that was the first place that I ever got PC games, or not even PC, Atari games.
Well, yeah. See, I was a console gamer like right up until Steam was legit. Well, I mean,
That's an interesting perspective.
and I can't say that it was right up until Steam was legit, but I can say that like having been a console gamer until around Wrath of the Lich King, when I finally started shifting over to more of a PC base because I built a nice PC for World of Warcraft, Steam was like already solid by then. So like I didn't have to deal with any of the growing pains. It just worked perfectly and
What's
was the
really
most
weird
amazing
is you
thing
didn't
ever.
get to experience the thing with having Steam as like an adjunct for the Valve stuff.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this storefront appeared on it.
Yeah.
And it's like that it was selling the Valve games. And then it was like a couple other games were being sold, and it's like, wow, this is going to be like a PC gaming store. And then it exploded, and it was really, really weird, but it must be even weirder for you to hear about how that was if you didn't experience it.
To be 100% honest, like, maybe this makes me uneducated, but I never even thought about it. I was just like, oh my god, Steam is amazing, I worship at its feet.
Yeah, that seems it would be a little more normal.
Like,
it's less weird for you to have seen it after it was already big.
Steam used to have this like brownish green color.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah,
Like
now
baby
it's all
poo.
gray and blue. Yeah, it was very kind of old school PC, kind of grungy.
Yep. It was
Military
it's changed
colors.
a lot since we first got it.
Yeah,
And I mean my Steam account my Steam account is like as old as a Steam account can be unless you work for Valve. And because it's like I don't know, I got my Steam account on September the 12th, 2003. So a long time ago. Like I've definitely played CS:GO against people who were younger than my Steam account.
that's harsh.
Hey, it's true though.
I know, that's amazing.
It's not Corwin's fault that he likes to beat on 6-year-olds.
At least he's not beating off 6-year-olds.
Oh my god, Gorefist, come on, this
Party
shit is
foul.
live, man. And that is the sign that the jokes have finally hit so far down that we kind of need to just end.
Sorry, guys.
That was terrible. I don't. As far going back to the Steam and everything, y'all know I'm a Steam noob. I have no idea. I still am kind of stuck. Maybe this is being an older thing. I don't know. I'm still stuck on having to have a hard copy of stuff in case shit's wrong, and you have to pop the disc in to replace it.
Asriel.
I've decided that it's safer to have it on the cloud.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though, Azriel. The thing that you have to recognize, and this is why I love Steam, is because when you have a hard copy, if the hard copy gets fucked, you get fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
With Steam, as long as you can access the internet, you can get all of your games on any computer you want, which is amazing.
And like,
Yeah,
for
well, like
example,
I said, this is like the older thinking, you know, having backup
Oh yeah,
copies
I
and stuff,
understand
you know,
that, and I had that moment too. I really did, until I suddenly realized that I am less stable and more likely to have failures, you know, than Valve is.
Yeah, it's like that. I had kids too, so like I've had enough discs just get like wrecked.
like for
Okay,
example,
I have a kid too, and I still have all of my PS1 games in perfect condition where I can play them on my console. You know,
Damn.
I still have like my, you know, boot up discs from a computer I don't even use anymore that I need to throw out, and I've just been too lazy
had
to
those
clean
too.
out.
So,
You know,
here's the thing.
so
right?
exactly
Like,
what
for
technique did you use to beat your child to make sure the discs were perfect?
You know, I'll say though, one of my favorite games when I was younger is Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, and my disc is scratched. It's like I took really good care of it, but over I don't know if it was like the Texas heat warped it or something
Well,
like that.
disc rot is a real thing.
But yeah, discs sometimes they just get old and fuck
Well,
up.
humidity actually is what causes disc rot, so
And-
it is humid
You know,
in the summer.
I guarantee that if you have a whole bunch of games, that probably at least a few of them have actually just gotten old and won't work anymore. Even
I'm
if you've taken
sure.
really good care of them, but at least on Steam, I'll have them forever.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I am really like, this is very telling of my age and sounds terrible, but when it comes to technology shift, I am terrible about it. I was the person arguing against CDs because I wanted to hang on to my vinyl so bad.
Oh, that reminds me of something I was about to say. Okay, first of all, that made me think about. Remember when CDs used to come in those really gigantic long cases?
I hated those things.
That was like, I don't even know what they were thinking. But anyway, I remember reading an article like several years ago about a guy who was apparently one of the most prolific CD collectors in the country. He has thousands and thousands and thousands of CDs that he started collecting. He was early adopter, you know, for CDs. And, you know, he decided he was like the opposite of all the vinyl people. Like, okay, good. This is the new medium. It can't get scratched. It's, you know, the same way. It's not going to melt or whatever. You know, this is more permanent. He got the impression that the digital medium was going to be permanent. But he stored his gigantic collection of CDs in a storage shed on his property, which was not climate controlled.
Oh,
And
God.
disc rot. It just he would pull out discs and they would just have inch wide sections, you know, just, you know, or half of them just totally clear plastic. And it's just, you know, basically one of the largest by numbers personal collections of CDs. You know, who knows how much of it is just clear plastic now. Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Yeah, I
awful.
know.
But yeah, I still have all my vinyl records, sadly, and they still play. So
And that, of course, all of that, you know, that's one of those things where all of this there's a component to it where technologies all have upsides and downsides. But the cloud is sort of the ultimate though in bulletproofing it, because a lot of
I
things
wouldn't
have
say
to fail.
bulletproofing it, but making it a lot. I think it's a lot safer on average than
Because it's not
the actual
it's
disc.
not in any one place anymore.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a horror story when it comes to vinyl, and pretty much I think it was over 5,000 records. Some were collectible, like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album, picture
So
album,
what
autographed,
happened?
and I had a house fire.
Oh,
Oh.
that's bad. So
And
did you
I
actually
came-
see the block of melted vinyl?
Yes, and
That is so messed up.
yeah, so after that point, I went strictly, you know, CD, but up until that point, I had a humongous record collection.
and comic book collection.
Yeah, comic book collection too. But yeah, at that point I was like, fuck records, screw it, I'm not buying them anymore.
That's so sad. Well, I heard recently that I forget which component it is that is in desperate need for making new vinyl records. It's a resin of some kind. Apparently, there are only 2 or 3 suppliers that make this stuff that is necessary to make vinyl records. One of them is a Japanese guy, is an elderly Japanese man who makes this resin in his garage, and is in sketchy contact at completely random times with anybody who wants to buy this stuff from him.
This is the kind of weird shit that only Uko knows. He's gonna be all like, yes, and then in the year 1897, Evander Barry Wald won the Great Dude competition.
That's stuff you know.
That ain't actually true,
But yeah, apparently, everyone's afraid this guy's gonna, just decide to stop because he doesn't want to make resin in his, in his garage anymore. But yeah, apparently, the vinyl, the demand for vinyl's gone up, but apparently there's huge problems in actually supplying it, like in the factories and stuff.
Okay, so thank you for that, Caster, for Bunimus, Scorfus. We are getting ready to end, and I just happened to flip over to Twitter, and I saw something that I feel is hilarious, and we can end on this. So I jumped over to Twitter, right, and like Darkest Dungeons is apparently on like a retweet spree right now. So I see the first thing, and it's like a dude in front of a green screen, like recording Darkest Dungeons. It's obviously like a stream. It's in a language that I can't read. That's cool. I see the next one. It's a drawing of one of the characters from Darkest Dungeon. And there's another drawing of a character. And then the next thing I see is Miley Cyrus. And the first thing that came to mind was, so that's who the boss of the Darkest Dungeon is.
Oh, that's not bad.
I'll say one more thing though before we sign off, and it bothers the shit out of me, is people in the YouTube world calling things that aren't jump cuts.
Oh,
Please
I saw
stop
you tweet
doing
about
that.
this earlier.
It's fucking infuriating to me. A jump cut is not a straight cut, but they see you do a straight cut and they think it's a jump cut, and then all these people are out there like they're doing crossfades and circle wipes and shit like that, when it's totally fucking unnecessary. It just, drives me crazy. A jump cut is not just a straight cut, but they think it is, and they call it that anyway, and kind of makes my head want to explode.
Wait. Okay, so a jump cut is not just a straight cut?
Yeah, see,
A jump cut, because we were film students, and a jump cut is when the camera, when you make a cut, but the camera hasn't moved by at least 30 degrees. It creates a weird disorientation
where suddenly you're looking at film because it's as if something is cut in time and space, or but as if you're looking at film.
A lot of people think that a jump cut, like a lot of people who have YouTube channels, think that a jump cut is when you just make a cut and don't apply a transition like a crossfade.
Another perfect example of a jump cut would be if you imagine that you have a shot of a chair and then you cut to someone sitting in the chair without showing them sitting in the chair. That's a jump cut because they've jumped to a place in the film where they're sitting.
What wouldn't be a jump cut is if like you're playing Borderlands and you cut from like some area out in the desert to suddenly you're looking in the middle of the town. Because the fact that
everything changes. The entire visual field changes.
Yeah, the entire visual field changes.
It's actually not a jump because you're used to this.
Because you assume that time has passed since the previous frame.
So, okay, I get it. So, like, what I do with the Chronicles of Dace quite frequently is because I try to hide the opening of the inventory, I have to cut right before the inventory opens and right after, and quite frequently that'll cause a shift of view just slightly.
That's a jump
cut.
That is exactly
but,
what
it's just what you got to do.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
But basically there are people who believe that any straight cut without an effect between them, without a fade, there are people who will call that a jump cut and then try to avoid it. And that's not what you do.
And that's not what it is at all. And it's very strange that people think that it's like that. But
people
do.
Free film editing tip there.
Yes.
All right, that was a little bit of extra film editing info.
Yeah.
For everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. It has been a blast. I will be on tomorrow afternoon at noon, and I will be joined by Game Goon and Fable Scroll for some Endless Legend.
And I will creep on you.
And Corwin and Uko are on 7 days a week, 2 videos a day over at youtube.com/
Dream cock a lot.
Yeah, they're Spicy Waffle here.
Spicy Waffle.
I'll just put some hype into the chat again. I'm glad I made this. I'd be gladder if I could spell.
We scream cock a lot, just so you all know.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, consider our channel to be not safe for work, but do watch it.
Yes, they're awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. Everybody have a good night. We will see you next week.